Okay, guys, I wanted to make a video going over CBLI. The reason being, I don't go long a stock very often, but when I do go long, it's typically a big setup. It's typically shorts on the wrong side, um, and there's usually a pretty big trade there, and I'm pretty confident in the trade. So a couple things about this morning. First of all, just going over CBLI, what was kind of going on. Last night, gapped up on news about a reverse merger. Um, Company has a couple drugs going on. There's a new company. It's kind of bullish. It's not worth $5, but it's worth something versus nothing. And when you look at the past charts, this thing has shot up towards five multiple times on what I would consider no news. So this market being what it is now, and knowing this stock the way that it trades like this. If you traded this stock before, you'll have known that intraday it has multiple, downs and ups, and it's a little bit more trendy like that. So that combined with this market, combined with everything else, combined with the fact that the news was a little bit, for the average investor, was a little bit complicated, meaning if you're short, you could suddenly start thinking thoughts like, oh, maybe I really didn't understand the news. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're long, you're just thinking, oh, it's great. It's people misunderstood the news or whatever. So the news isn't as straightforward as your average news, right? Like, a certain amount of cash, 10% earnings, this trial went good, it's this type of trial, whatever. So yeah, it was just a little more complicated, and so that plays into a little bit of the unknown about where it can go and what it's worth. So all these things come into play that I'm considering. The final factor was that there was nothing. There was two stocks that were running. Well, there's lots running in the morning, but there was one other stock that was running huge pre-market, and before that, which was APTX. And there was a ton of attention on APTX. And I believe, like, I knew APTX and I was trading it, and I believed that they would walk. And that's exactly what happened, is that, all the 7 a.m. push here, they walked and they were just gone. Because this news was not pumpable. This news was different. This is a different name, a thicker name, and there's nothing really to do here. So I just knew this would fail all day. So I knew that they would walk, so that they would choose this one, basically, the chat room. So that was kind of the thesis behind that. In my scan, I was more interested in long. It was a weak open. It opened super weak at 2.5. When I saw it instantly, when I saw it at 2.5, I was like, okay, this is going up. I didn't know it was going 5. Okay, but my plan was, break over this 5 level. And typically, as you guys will know, if you follow me a lot, 530s-ish is kind of that 30-cent range I give for emotional range over a certain range. So that is pretty much spot on what happened. Like, it was just perfect. So there was a 7 a.m. long here. I'm just mortified that I didn't get this long from 2.5. I literally saw it here and I was like, oh, I think this is a great long, and I didn't take the long. Just one of those things where you're thinking, oh, you just had that thought, and then you look back later and you're like, well, I'm a dumbass. So, but one of the reasons that I didn't take this long here, or didn't see this happening and totally forgot about it, is because I was short APTX on the front side, and I short this stock. I was shorting, well, this is a different account. I accidentally covered by accident there. I was planning on holding it right through. But I short another account. I was green on the trade in my borrow account, but I was shorting the front side of the stock, and I was worried as it was popping through after hour highs, and so it was taking my full focus, and I completely forgot about CBLI. So that would have been a fantastic trade. I don't know if I would have held for 4s. I might have. My thesis on 7 a.m. longs is it's going to go for at least Sometimes I say till 8:30 is the move, and I think, okay, yeah, that's exactly pretty much what happened. Obviously this was a parabolic. This was a huge move over 4. You'd sell some. Um, to be completely honest, I don't know if I would have rebought the dip for this move, but definitely would have held some past, just 7 or just 712. But that is a big move. That's a whole dollar there. So anyways, I missed that long, but that gave me confidence in my thesis up towards 5. I've seen a lot of these charts before, which also gave me confidence in my thesis, where they rip it up, comes under VWAP, comes over VWAP quite a ways, and then everybody thinks they've, got the shorts out, everything else, comes back under VWAP, and this is the trap. And so, I kind of drew a line. I was thinking, okay, where is the support? 3.5, half dollar, interesting mark. I started a little bit early. I was a little bit excited. As you can see, it was not the best average, maybe 360s. So I didn't get the size I wanted because, I've had more patience. Went right into my planned target zone, and then just kind of locked in a little bit of profits, added back more size. So sold a pop, added back more size, sold right before the open, just because, you're not entirely sure, and just sold right into the open pop. The reason I sold right in the open pop was it just felt a little bit too obvious because they've been doing this every single day. They did it with KXIN just the other day where it just, halted and up, 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 up. So, I wanted something a little bit less obvious, so sold. And so once I sold, I had a clear head. I put just a tiny little short on here, or a tiny little long, like no size whatsoever, like 1/20th, just to get back in the trade. Sub 4 was happy to be back in with, minus 80-cent average. And then I sized in 360s. My plan was hold a higher low and just watch and see what it did. And to be honest, I should have added here. I said in chat, I said 4 breaks. It's going to be like a little mini Kodak, and it's exactly what happened. Maybe not the range of Kodak, but basically, I don't have the recorded price action to go over what happened here, but you can clearly see with the candle came down to that area, and these stocks have always been going up, and then once they do this move with this huge volume and the big stuff, they fade all day. They never come back, right? And so I'm thinking if it comes back, it has to come back now. It has to come back around 10 o'clock, because later in the day it's just too hard. You gotta have the emotional shorts in there. You gotta still have everybody shorting in there who's short of VWAP. So anybody who waited for this slam, right, and shorted here, pretty much that point there, right? That's your like stop out point up above here or here or here. Tons of stops there, right? So I saw it come down. I saw it fail, and this is my favorite long here. It's a double fail under VWAP to make people super bearish to load short. And then I wanted to see how it reacted. It had a little stuff here. Wick was bought up, came down, wick was bought up, confirmed it wanted up. But this was the interesting part. As it tried to break out, had a huge stuff here. This was a huge stuff. Larger volume, came down, slam. And it was just a stuff. And that was super, it just looked super, super bearish. And, for a minute or two there, I was just kind of saying in chat, you know what, I could be wrong. But, price action indicates that this failed here. And this is, ready to make the next leg down and fade all day. But my thesis was that it would hold. And if it did perk to 4 and break 4, then it was going to slowly ramp up to here and do the massive squeeze. And that's exactly what happened. Once it perked, this is where I was a little bit uncertain, where I should have added more size. There definitely should be green arrows here, adding, as my thesis was correct, and that would have still made my average pretty much flat on the stop out. And this sell was a little bit premature, but when you're up 60 cents or something, it's hard not to take profits, and then sold perfectly into the peaks. if I was thinking, which I really wasn't at the time, I was so happy with nailing the long, is that I realized, I'd found the top and it would have made a fantastic short to fade all day. But came down for a third idea, 390s over and under before, and sold, and didn't really believe it, didn't really go, and so just got out of it when it didn't go. But I just wanted to go over that price action real quick. Just wanted you guys to understand what I saw in the trade. First of all, why I thought it was going up. The 10 different reasons that I listed about my thoughts about it, why I thought it was going up. Why I took the initial long that I took down here at 3.5, and why I thought it was going 530s on the technical analysis, and why there was 2 pushes and the huge trap that was down here. So all those things are literally just screen time. That is just, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of seeing the same patterns over and over and over and over again, and then also realizing and knowing what market we are in currently. That is one of the most important things that you need to piece together, is that, yeah, you have a knowledge of the markets, you have a knowledge of the past, but what market are you in currently? And I think that is more important than anything else, because if you're not in a hot market, this move probably wouldn't have happened. This would probably have popped to this after hours and, maybe pop 340s and faded 260s in another market. Like, this would have done like nothing. So it's important to understand what market you are in. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the long, and also just want to comment and say, for the short thesis, obviously anybody, there's a ton of retail long here, chasing here. This is all chat room movement. And now on the second push, all the shorts are out. So now you got a retail heavy long and you have all the shorts out. What do you think is going to happen? That is probably the most guaranteed short you will ever get from 5 to 3 in your life, because and that's not hindsight saying that. That's just saying who's in the trade. You're not gonna buy to go again. All the shorts are out. All the shorts are going to be ready. The longs know it's going to slam. The longs aren't going to go in. So I mean, this is a pretty darn, in my opinion, safe short, and it's kind of ridiculous that I didn't take it, but it's hard to play both sides and switch biases pretty easily like that. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.